From the theme park capital of the world, bringing you the latest in theme park news. Welcome to the ThrillGeek Podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the ThrillGeek Podcast. I am Clint.
I am Barry.
And we got some catching up to do, Mr. Barry and I. Janine's out this week, so Barry and I are going to hold down the fort here and get caught up on some goodies we've missed because the last, 2 episodes have been epic.
It's been so epic. But I've taken this is going to be a quick one. I've taken my nighttime meds, so we're on the clock.
Oh, you're going to fall asleep in the middle of the podcast. We're not going to waste any time. We're going to stick to Disney, and then we're going to jump over to Universal, get caught up on, like we said, after Epic, Halloween Horror Nights kicked into high gear. So we're going to go through the Halloween Horror Nights announcements. Yeah. And then probably get on out of here. So short and sweet recording just to get kind of caught up. So first things first, over at Disney World, Disney dropped a little more details about the Cars expansion coming to Magic Kingdom finally. And they released a much more detailed map, which I think was kind of nice because I think it gave people a big sigh of relief with this Cars expansion.
Detailed yet cartoony, but more on theme to what the theme is for this.
I think the big thing was the water. Everybody, obviously everybody is, I mean, not everybody, I'm in the minority, but everybody is distraught and stressed out about Rivers of America going bye-bye for this Cars expansion. But this new concept artwork that we got, it does show a lot more water in it, which was a nice thing. It sounds very weird talking about water in such an important way, but this new map definitely gave us a better glimpse of to how they're going to kind of keep a lot of the aspects of the water in it.
No, I mean it goes with the national parks theme. I think the biggest keys for me, more the boardwalk and. Looks like a smaller river will stay in front of Frontierland, around the corner and everything. The fact that the previous art looked like there were like mountains in front of Haunted Mansion.
The previous concept artwork was very sketchy. It was very not sketchy as in like bad sketchy, not that definition of sketchy, but it looked like it was a very rough sketch of this Cars Cars.
You're welcome to Piston Peaks. Why would you not lean into using Big Thunder and Tiana's as a backdrop in the background to blend in? It just looks like there was a lot more thought put into this concept than the original concept art, and trying to properly integrate it into Frontierland, but also separate it as its
just
own
enough
area, and I think they have done that now. I think the interesting thing we may get out of all this is, will the entrance to Haunted Mansion be moved to a new location?
Haunted Mansion kind of sticks out there like a sore thumb in Liberty Square. I think there's been some discussion about what they're going to do with Haunted Mansion. Expanded queue is probably the biggest part.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest issue Haunted Mansion has always had is the queue. Mm-hmm. The queue blocks your view of the mansion itself.
Yeah.
It's always been one of the big issues. Could they shift the queue around? Could Haunted Mansion become a part of Fantasyland like it is at Tokyo Disneyland? That would give it more of a separation. Some of these people, I don't think you don't make the Haunted Mansion part of Villains Land. It makes no sense.
No,
thematically, it makes more sense thematically of sort of redoing that area around Mansion and Memento Mori, or maybe wiping out that area and maybe turning that into changing some things around, and the entrance comes in literally onto Fantasyland, starts in Fantasyland. So I could see some shifting of things.
There's also been a lot of discussion about Liberty Square after this expansion. Liberty Square is on borrowed time. So
yes, Liberty Square is on borrowed time. There's a lot of questions involving, the Hall of Presidents, how much longer that attraction has. It's Liberty Square, I think, is definitely not long for this world. It's always paled compared to New Orleans Square in in both Disneyland and Tokyo Disneyland. If you want something like, Liberty Square it's a pale imitation of Colonial Williamsburg, some of the other tourist attractions that you can go and get a more Revolutionary War colonial time period experience, and it doesn't fit as thematically really into Magic Kingdom now as it maybe did before. So,
and even when this, I think even more so once this Cars Land expansion opens up, it'll be even more awkward Liberty Square area. So this new Cars expansion, obviously, it'll feature 2 attractions: the off-road rally adventure, and we've seen the concept artwork of the off-road vehicles. It says the experience will include an interactive queue inside a park lodge and feature an all-new original character, Ranger J. Autobahn Woodlore. And I guess he was based off of an old, what was he? Oh, I forgot what the old animation was that he's based off of, a character.
The Ranger from the Humphrey the Bear shorts.
That's what it was, yeah. An animatronic park ranger who introduces the park lore. And then Disney's being quiet on the second family-friendly attraction that's going to be in this Cars expansion. It says it will offer a more relaxed experience suitable for all ages, likely housed in the park's ranger station area.
I would love for a covered version of Luigi's, but
that would be pretty cool. I love Luigi's. It's so much fun.
Luigi's. If you want to talk about attractions, I'm like begging them to clone a version of.
Yeah,
it's Luigi's.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't need another. I mean, obviously, we got alien swirling sauces, so we don't need a tomato. We don't need another clone of that. But God, a covered Luigi's. I mean, would have to be here. Yes, please bring something like like I said, it can be little Jeeps instead, or or whatever. I don't care.
Just give me Luigi's.
Or Luigi can be visiting the parks. Whatever. I don't care. Figure it out, Disney. It's such a fun attraction. It is. It doesn't get. It's one of my favorite parts of Cars Land.
When we were there a couple of years ago with the kids, all 3 kids got to ride it during Halloween, and they do the Halloween overlay, which is so much fun.
They do a Christmas one.
Yep.
There's so many. Of course, here they'd probably keep it for the parties only. I mean, yes, covered version of Luigi's. I mean, to me that is like a no-brainer and easy to do.
And then obviously to make way for this new Cars Land Cars expansion, Rivers of America, Tom Sawyer Island, and Liberty Square Riverboat will be closing on January. The last day to experience them will be, July 6th, with them closing for good on July 7th, allowing for construction to begin. So if you want to experience any of those things, you have until July 6th to get to Magic Kingdom and check them out.
And then I can't remember if it's the exact same date that Walt Disney World Railroad will be going to.
What are they calling it? The shuttle mode? Yeah.
We'll see how long that lasts. I'm hoping they stick to it between Main Street and Fantasyland Station.
Fantasyland. I was correct, right? It's basically going to be like Hogwarts Express. They're going to run forward and then they're going to run it backwards, right?
Yes, pretty much. That is what we can go back and forth about. Once again, we're shutting the railroad down for multiple freaking years. At least this time they are at least running shuttle mode, but like I said, we'll see how long that lasts. We're into new areas that have never been, like they've literally are moving land, rerouting water, everything, drainage and everything for Cars and Villains Lands. I think people don't understand that Rivers of America, and I think that might be one of the reasons why more water is in this concept art, is that was the drainage for the entire side of that park.
It was, yeah.
So I have a feeling that was one of the things, like when I guess the Water Management District denied their plans initially. I'm sure some of it had to do with, you guys have to have more drainage, more water storage, because that was literally the drainage for the entire side of that park. Hopefully the ambiance will still somewhat be there. On the other hand, it will make Magic Kingdom a little bit more unique. It seems that their scale for this Cars thing is pretty big. So all of us who've been to Radiator Springs Racers, this rock work and landscaping wise is even bigger, I feel like, than Radiator Springs Racers. So
that's the thing too, is Cars Land. If you've been to DCA, you've been to Cars Land. It is one of the most impressive lands Disney has ever done, like immersiveness, because you have the giant Cadillac mountains in the background. You know, if we get anything remotely close to that with this wilderness kind of outdoorsy Appalachian kind of vibe, it'll be pretty awesome. You know, I'm there's a lot, like I said, there's a lot of people upset about Rivers of America closing. I get missing the view, but I don't understand people that are going to miss the attraction, because that thing just doesn't hold the, nobody does it anymore. So,
well, I mean, the rivers here don't even have what they used to have, where they had the keel boats and the canoes.
Yeah, people
remember like we used to have the canoes like Disneyland had. We used to have keel boats, which were what we had instead of the sailing ship. Disneyland still has the canoes and the sailing ship and the riverboat. And so we've lost so much over the years. And even Tom Sawyer Island, Tom Sawyer Island used to have a quick service restaurant.
Yeah.
They've slowly reduced the reasons to go to Tom Sawyer Island, and then they've reduced what's on the river. The only issue probably you and I have is how Haunted Mansion's going to blend in with everything. Are they going to block it off enough? Or are we going to end with some horrible looking thing there?
Yeah. Like you were discussing, it's going to be very interesting to see what they do with Haunted Mansion, because Haunted Mansion is kind of right there. Where all the construction's going to be, because I mean you're in the queue and you can look down into the river.
No, I mean we obviously know that there will now, one good thing that will come of this, it kills the dead end at Big Thunder.
Yeah,
it will now go around.
It'll be a full loop
and
now.
Obviously, it will leave the opening for Villains Land, and we believe eventually Villains Land will have a back entrance that will go around to Fantasyland.
Yeah,
so it will open up the park more. They solved the thematic problem with Frontierland with the water, and it looks like it'll be on like sort of the backside of, looks like it'll be more like rock work and trees that you'll see from original to Frontierland. The question is how much they're going to be. I'm hoping they're going to do a real good job of the mansion still sort of being its own little thing.
Yeah.
It won't have the same visual feel of it sitting there up by the river.
Yeah.
But I hope they figure out some other way that still makes the mansion sort of stand apart. And I think changing up the entrance, the queue somehow, would definitely help.
I wouldn't mind them kind of opening up like you said, opening up the queue area some more. Maybe, I know they have the canopy for cover for the queue, but if they could somehow shift that around to the side or something, or the back, just to kind of give Mansion a more kind of distinct look. We could sit here and speculate all night, but it'll be interesting to see. Yeah, it'll be interesting.
We will be talking about it a lot over the next
couple years. We're moving on over to Universal Orlando Resort, and we've got some Halloween Horror Nights goodies to get caught up on. We've had, I know, like I said, the minute Epic Universe was done, Universal switched the gears and kicked Halloween Horror Nights announcements into high gear. And the first announcement we got was really interesting. The Five Nights at Freddy's announcement, because
vague one.
Yeah, it was a really weird announcement. I forgot what it said on the announcement. It said, it said Five Nights at Freddy's is coming to Halloween Horror Nights in an all new way or something like that, like an all new experience or some weirdly worded announcement. But then I was watching a video from, I think it was IGN, and John Murdy was on there.
Yeah.
And he pretty much confirmed that it is a house.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, it is a house.
Oops.
Yeah.
It was because Blumhouse was at with a con in Mexico City.
It was a con down in Mexico City,
and they announced some things at a panel. So then they had to sort of like, I'm assuming they were given a little bit of warning. They had to drop some information, and so Five Nights at Freddy's, that's going to be a huge, as far as getting,
You thought there were a lot of teens at HHN before. y'all just wait. You ain't seen nothing yet. Coming from a
It'll be interesting to see if it's not just a house. Maybe there's like a photo op. Maybe they turn theme Louis up a little. Who knows?
To Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria, yeah.
Because I'm sure people would want to, do a selfie with. Who knows? But they make it sound like it's more than a house. It's more than just a house. There might be some other things.
We haven't seen. There's so much they could do with Five Nights at Freddy's. Like you said, they could the Lagoon show, a house, some kind of walkthrough. I mean, they had the I guess you could call them costumes from Jim Henson Studios at Hollywood last year.
Yeah, so they might have some sort of themed part too, themed little area that's a restaurant that's themed or.
Yeah.
Bar,
the only thing that we got was it says Five Nights at Freddy's follows the harrowing story of haunted animatronics stalking unsuspecting visitors inside the abandoned Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, turning nostalgia into nightmarish horror. Then it says the ominous teaser marks the first official revelation for this year's lineup, confirming the return of Freddy and his sinister companions. And then Universal did say more details will be announced at a later date. So we'll have to see if we get some more details about FNAF coming to Halloween Horror Nights, because they did release that little stained glass thing that they've been doing with the IPs.
Yes.
And they don't have one for FNAF. They have the other two we're about to talk about, but they didn't put out a. So all right, moving on. We got Fallout.
Not the video game, the TV series.
Yeah. This will be based on the Prime TV series, which made its debut last year. I have not seen the show. Have you seen it?
Yes, I have seen it. It was very good. I mean, it's got Walton Goggins in it as the ghoul. So I mean, come on, it's Walton Goggins. No, it's really good. I think it is interesting to me that it is the TV show, and I think this is their first ever deal with Amazon, Amazon Prime, which I think is interesting.
Yeah.
They're obviously looking at other avenues, because they do have the MGM, the later MGM, the pre-Turner Warner Brothers buyout MGM catalog, which has a lot of horror in it. There's a lot of not great horror, but there is a lot of horror in that catalog. So this is their first time working with Amazon, so it'll be interesting. And obviously, if this works out, it's another partner for them to have.
Let me ask you this: I think there are a lot of people with the Fallout announcement going up. There's always when there's an IP like this that some people don't perceive as horror. There's a lot of people going, "Oh, Fallout isn't horror." So what do you think about people saying that Fallout isn't horror?
I mean, is Ghostbusters horror?
Yeah, I think Ghostbusters was another good example of that.
I mean, Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
I mean, it falls into that. It's a post-apocalyptic tale.
Yeah.
There are zombies. There are irradiated creatures. There's a level of horror and dread to it. It's a horrible post-apocalyptic world. Not only that, but it's also a retro futuristic, like mid-century modern world.
Yeah. I think that's one thing.
The design alone, I mean,
that's what I'm excited for, is where they go aesthetically with this house. Like I've played several of the Fallout video games, and I love the aesthetic of them, like the visuals, like you said, that kind of. And
also, people don't talk about horror. The story is a horror story.
Yeah.
Yes, it is sci-fi, but you're talking about companies that band together and start a nuclear war.
Yeah.
And are running experiments on people and all these different. Yeah. I mean, what is more like disturbing, horrific?
Yeah. Yeah.
that people would do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is a horror story.
Yeah.
There's just different types of horror.
Yeah. It's
horror
subjective.
Is not all blood and guts.
Yep. Mr. Mike Aiello himself, he said several times, horror is subjective, which I agree with him.
Yeah.
Completely. There's so many different sub levels of horror. You know, like you said, not all horror has to be blood and guts and screaming and
also with Fallout, you're like, there's the ghouls, there's zombies, there's creatures. Some of the worst people in Fallout are the human beings.
Yeah. What's scarier than human beings?
Yeah, I mean, and with Fallout, with the TV series, like one of the characters' fathers really turns out to be like the most horrible person and villain in the whole show. So it's like, and that's it's the same way with the video games too. Mm-hmm. Some of the worst horrible people in the video games, they are the human beings.
It's
that
very
all behind this.
It's very similar to The Last of Us. The Last of Us starts off with the clickers, and as you get into The Last of Us Part 2, the humans really kind of overtake and become the story of the game, and become the quote unquote horror aspect of the game.
Well, it's no different with the story of The Walking Dead.
Yeah,
it's like at first, yes, the zombies are the danger, but eventually they become the nuisance.
Yeah,
it's the other human beings that are the true danger.
Exactly. Yep.
So,
but yeah, we have all the details up on our Ultimate Thrill Guide for HHN if you guys want to check that out. And yeah, Fallout. I'm gonna have to get going on the show because, like I said, I have not seen the show. I've been meaning to. Yeah, I heard nothing but good things about it, so it's definitely on my. It was on my to watch list, and now that it's coming to HHN, it's been bumped up to. I have to watch it here soon. So
and last but not least,
and then the most recent announcement we got on Friday the 13th is the Jason universe is coming to Halloween Horror Nights. It's been 10 years since we've seen Jason at Halloween Horror Nights. He's coming back, and this whole Jason universe thing is really interesting because apparently this is like a rebranding or something of Jason. It says Jason universe will plunge us into a chilling journey through iconic scenes from Jason's brutal history, from the rotting floorboards of his secluded cabin to the ominous forest trails and the long abandoned main lodge. Yeah, I'm really curious about this.
It seems to sort of be like maybe highlights of moments from
the movies.
Yeah, or at least the Camp Crystal Lake parts of the movies,
which I'm fine with. We've gotten Freddy versus Jason at HHN. If this is just a good, solid Jason house, I'm all for it.
No, and the fact that it's been 10 years since that, it's actually almost refreshing considering like how many times we've had like Chainsaw Massacre. Mm-hmm. And I like never want to see a Chainsaw Massacre house ever again. This is almost a refresh, a long time horror, for lack of a better term, IP that actually hasn't been run into the ground at Halloween Horror Nights.
Yeah.
So it's nice to see, like, it's been 10 years, so it's actually Friday the 13th has sort of waned a little. But
as far as popularity, you mean?
As far as popularity, but I think, who knows, maybe the people who own Friday the 13th, this is their way to sort of like test the waters of seeing how many people still care about Friday the 13th. And
there's been a lot of legal
video game.
I was just going to say, there's been a lot of legal issues with Jason and Friday the 13th. Obviously,
a lot of the horror.
Yeah, and the video game was one of the. Unfortunately, I had so much fun playing the Friday the 13th video game. I absolutely loved that game. Yeah. And then they ran into all the legal troubles with that game, and in the end, they had to shut down the video game and kill off the servers, which I was kind of bummed about because that game was so much fun. So I'm hoping that this is successful, and they do apparently. I don't know if it's true, but I heard that I forgot what the name of the prequel series that they came out on Peacock. Apparently that's going to be tied into this somehow. So that was kind of the first thing that they did for this.
Well, yeah, because the first movie is actually his mother.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I think it's like I said, it's a well-known horror IP that really, like I said, they haven't touched in 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
So
unlike Michael Myers and
yes.
Michael Myers.
As much as we love Halloween, it's like
I've been shocked that they haven't done a house on the new Halloween trilogy that they just wrapped up Yeah, no, it's interesting to see that Jason's back, and like I said, as long as this is a good, just solid Jason house with some of the highlights from the movies, I'm all for it. You know, just give me a good slasher house with Jason just coming around every corner in the woods.
It's gonna be a lot of big guys and hockey masks going.
Yeah.
And teenagers screaming and
But no, I'm excited. I really hope this house is good. I love Jason. I love Friday the 13th movies, and I hope this house is as good as we think it could be. So Halloween Horror Nights 2025. You know, it's so funny. Like we should. I was thinking about it the other day, and I was like, construction is actually going to be starting here.
We will start seeing signs
probably very soon within the
dust or don't stand on this thing.
Yeah. Pardon our dust. Yep. So yeah, it'll be here before you know it, folks. So obviously, as all of you guys know, be sure to follow ThrillGeek across all of our social media platforms. As always, Halloween Horror Nights is our bread and butter. It's what we do best. Covering
and where can they see the guide?
ThrillGeek.com/HHN. We're constantly updating the HHN Ultimate Thrill Guide, so please make sure to check it out. We got ticketing information up there. We've got house as soon as frequent fear pass details go up. We'll have that on there. Scare zones. It's within the last couple of years, our HHN Ultimate Thrill Guide has performed really well, and the foodie one too.
Yeah.
I've been actually shocked at how well our foodie guide has performed too. So look for that too when we start getting more details about the food this year at Halloween Horror Nights.
And then we'll talk about it so much you guys will get tired of it.
You'll get sick of us. I think you can access the foodie guide at thrillgeek.com/HHN foodie if I'm correct. So look for that. And like I said, make sure you're following ThrillGeek across all of our other social media platforms for all things Halloween Horror Nights 2025 as the spooky season comes quick this year. All right, I think we can get out of here. We kept it, a little over 30 minutes, but, that's okay.
Yep.
Yeah, so, Barry, where can everybody follow you online?
I am at Culture and Thrills on all social media platforms.
And you guys can follow me at IMCG83 across Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, Instagram, and Blue Sky. And make sure you're subscribed to the ThrillGeek YouTube channel. As you guys have noticed, the ThrillGeek Studio YouTube channel has been stripped of all of its videos. I will be posting a video soon to the ThrillGeek Studio YouTube channel kind of explaining what's going on. Long story short, we're going back to the regular ThrillGeek YouTube channel. So make sure you guys are subscribed and have the notification bell turned on over on the regular ThrillGeek YouTube channel because
you can check out our latest ThrillGeek Studio adventures, including myself, Janine, and Clint all going to Hollywood Studios to say goodbye to Muppet Vision 3D and say hello to the Villain Show and attempt to say hello to the Little Mermaid Show, but we don't quite make it there. Followed by our latest epic video, which is Isle of Burke. And if you haven't seen our Dark Universe video, you're missing out on a pretty amazing video.
It's pretty awesome.
Also, new to the channel is Janine and I go to SeaWorld to check out some daytime fun at the SeaWorld Summer Spectacular and also get to see Emperor penguins, the only place in North America where you can see emperor penguins, and that was probably one of the highlights of the whole day. But the new show Hydro Surge is really good. The Rescue Tales, it's a cute show.
Yeah,
it's just all things to get out of the heat for your during daytime at SeaWorld Orlando for the SeaWorld Summer Spectacular. And, of course, like we said, all of our ThrillGeek Studio videos are slowly moving over to the channel. And make sure you'll notice some changes slowly coming to the ThrillGeek channel, and especially that ThrillGeek Studio playlist is right up front there. So if you want to check out any of our adventures, they're right there for you.
Yeah, like Barry said, we are keeping the ThrillGeek Studio name / branding, I guess you could say, alive. It's still going to be an entity over on the ThrillGeek YouTube channel. Our vlog style videos are still going to be called ThrillGeek Studio Adventures, I guess you could say. So we're not completely killing off the ThrillGeek Studio name. We're just going to be moving the channel over to the regular one. And I have, I spent like a night just scheduling one video a day. So we have a video scheduled every day until like the beginning of July.
It's almost at mid-July now because every time we put out a new video, we push. I've been pushing the other videos back, pushing one video back a day. So I think it's now up to July 14th or 15th.
So with the exception of a few that I deleted and I didn't really think they were needed, all ThrillGeek Studio YouTube videos will be over on the regular ThrillGeek channel eventually. Oh, real quick, let me also mention the podcast. I am not going to be putting the audio version of the podcast on the regular ThrillGeek channel. Strictly the video version will be going to YouTube. So if you want to listen to the ThrillGeek podcast, you're going to have to find it on your favorite audio, whether it's Apple Music or Apple Podcasts or Spotify. I'm not going to be posting the audio version on the YouTube channel, so just note that. So yeah, make sure you watch the video version. Give our YouTube channel some love. So, all right. Anyways, guys, thanks so much. We appreciate you guys, and thanks for listening. And we will see you guys on the next episode.
Bye.
Bye.